What's going on, everyone? So the upcoming Scream 7, Sidney Prescott is the only one we have confirmed to be on board. Supposedly, based on recent rumors and reports, that Gale Weathers, Courtney Cox, has actually signed on. She signed on at the end of last week. So supposedly, Gale Weathers, Sidney Prescott, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox are going to be involved, are going to be in this film. Patrick Dempsey still don't have concrete confirmation on, but he is also expected to be in this film as well. And it would make sense, right? You have Sidney Prescott, who she is going to be front and center. Supposedly, it's supposed to be kind of like a 70-30 split with her. And then you have, obviously, her family being involved. She's married to Mark Kincaid. Talked about this before. If you're going to drop a bombshell on us like that, at some point you need to deliver. At some point you need to give us some type of scenes or a film, right, where you have Patrick Dempsey returning as Mark Kincaid. You get to see the wife-husband dynamic. Sidney Prescott, how is she? Is she a loving wife? Is she kind of guarded, right? Do they have a good relationship? Do they have a bad relationship? Are they staying together for the kids, right? Like, what? I want to see the insight. Scream has a real opportunity here to do something that no other Scream has done in the franchise. That is to have a family being the target. Scream has always been very family-oriented, right? From Sidney to Maureen, and then the full circle tie-in to her brother, and then her niece or whatever was the killer, and then even like Billy and Mrs. Loomis, that tie-in and connection, and then you have Richie and his dad, right? Like, you go down the list, throughout the history of Scream, it's always kind of had family dynamics, family elements to it. So, but you've never had a husband, wife, and children be targets of Ghostface. How that effect is going to happen on the children, on Sidney. Like, how does she feel about it? Does she start having some mental lapses and stuff because she's in a position where it's like, my children are being attacked because I'm Sidney Prescott. This is all happening because of me, right? There's so many different creative ways that you can kind of go about this, really tell a great convincing story, and really hope they don't drop the ball on this, right? Do have some like genuine concerns about how are they going to deliver that. I've been very critical on the writing of Scream 5 and 6, but look, never too late to turn it around. You also got Kevin Williamson now into the fold, into the mix, so I'm hoping that he can kind of right the ship a little bit. But we have some rumored, I want to be clear, rumored, take it with a grain of salt as always, we have some rumored character bios and information on several characters that I want to dive into, I want to talk about and discuss, because I do think this stuff is very interesting. Again, take this stuff with the smallest grain of salt. Do not buy too much into it. But here you go. New rumors, Scream 7, character descriptions have been shared by movie insider Daniel RPK. Now, Taylor is Tatum. So whenever you see myself or anybody else kind of doing a description or breakdown of something and you hear Taylor, it's supposed to be Tatum, who is Sidney's oldest daughter. Sidney's oldest daughter is supposed to be named after, Tatum Riley, who is in the classic Scream 96. So keep that in mind. Whenever you see Taylor, keep in mind that it's Tatum. Now, descriptions. Taylor, who is Tatum, 17, 18 years old, Sidney's daughter. Brian, 17, 8 years old, is Taylor's boyfriend, again, Tatum's boyfriend. Chelsea, the heartbreaker of the group, 17 to 18. Then you have Holly, Taylor's rich friend, the queen bee of the group. Logan, 17 to 18. Taylor's hot but creepy neighbor with a Ted Bundy vibe. So with Logan, supposedly, based on other rumors, talked about in a previous video, supposedly Sidney has a neighbor who has that's a friend, but the kid is like really weird, really creepy. Probably a red herring, right? That's what you gotta imagine. And then Jennifer, who's Logan's mom and Sidney's friend. She's in her 40s to 50s. So this is supposed to be the character rundown. So again, you have Taylor, who is Tatum. Brian, we'll see. Keep in mind, all these names could be completely different once you get to the actual movie, because films do that a lot, especially in Scream. But Taylor is supposed to be Tatum. Brian is supposed to be the boyfriend. Then you have Chelsea. Then you have Holly, Logan, and Jennifer. Those are the characters that are involved. And this comes from Critical Overlord, who Scream 7 rumored plot details. Taylor and Brian have been dating for a year, but she hasn't said I love you. Taylor, again, keep in mind, Taylor is ready to sleep with Brian, but Brian thinks she's just trying to check a box. Again, previous rumors came out that supposedly Taylor is really pressuring Brian, that she wants to lose her virginity, that she's incredibly rebellious. She has a better relationship with her father than she does her mother, Sydney, and that Sydney's kind of this overbearing parent. And so Tatum is incredibly just rebellious. So something to keep in mind for context. Sydney does not allow anyone to see Taylor at night. Very strict. Taylor sneaks into Brian's room at night. Billy Trevor. So kind of, what we saw in previous Scream films. Sydney's house isn't easy to sneak out of, according to Taylor. Which you'd imagine Sydney probably has all kinds of like booby traps and all kinds. Like I could see Sydney kind of being like Laurie in the recent Halloween franchise. But yeah, supposedly it's really tough, really hard to get in. But that's also something to keep in mind, that if Tatum is able to get out, it means there's probably a way for somebody to get in. So keep that in mind. But supposedly, again, take these with a grain of salt, McKenna Grace is supposed to be Tatum. She is supposed to be Sydney's daughter. She is 18 years old, so she fits the character description, all that stuff. So you're supposed to have an older teen daughter of Sidney Prescott. Something I've talked about is you can essentially have her oldest daughter be whatever age you need it to be, right? I know people talk about like, oh, well, Sydney never mentioned a daughter in Scream 4. Why would she need to? She's on a book tour, right? She leaves her family at home. Like, she's not going to take her family on the book tour with her. Like, they have school, they have all kinds of stuff. Mark Kincaid stays back with the kids, right? Like, Dewey and Gail and everybody would already know that she has children, right? That she has a family. So it's not like they got to be like, oh, like, and like, again, it's movie logic, right? Like, when they had meeting, as soon as Sydney got there, killings started, right? Like, and she had bodies in her trunk, and she became a Sydney immediately became a suspect, right? So like, I don't think it's really that big of a deal that like, oh, we didn't know she had children in Scream 4. Again, like, where is she supposed to say that? Again, Dewey and Gail and even her niece, stuff like they all would have known that she had children, right? Like, so does that, she has to constantly, oh yeah, no, hey Sydney, how are you? Oh, I'm great, my children are fine. Oh, hey Sydney, are you thirsty? Nah, I'm not thirsty, but neither are my children. Like, like, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's something that like will be okay. However, if you're going to have Sydney's daughter be 17, 18, chances are that's going to be a real kind of, like, she's going to be a significant character for the foreseeable future. Maybe even somebody that becomes the face of the franchise at some point. So, McKenna Grace, I'm all for that. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think she can play it and kind of be that face going forward. Now, Kerry Russell is rumored to be Jennifer. There was rumors of Kerry Russell being signed on like months ago. Like literally, it was like 2, maybe longer months ago. It was a long time ago that Kerry Russell was supposed to be a part of it. But they also said, I also saw rumors that said that that's not true. So we'll see, right? Again, as you can see, there's question marks on these because you never know, right? As always, again, take these with a grain of salt. But I'm all for it. Like, it would make sense. Could Kerry Russell, who's Jennifer, could that be, potentially the killer? I hope it's not, like, incredibly obvious. Right? Like, I want the killer to be more centered around Tatum than Sydney. Right? Like, if this is really supposed to be, like, a 30th anniversary type thing, have Ghostface wanting to go after Tatum, and Sydney's she's just, because she's Sidney Prescott. It's like, there you go. Like, I don't need it to be some crazy, like, it's the neighbor and her boyfriend and they're just, like, I don't, like, keep it simple, in my opinion, right? Like, kind of have Ghostface be brutal, be dark, be, kind of like what we saw in Scream 5 and 6, but also, tell a good story, tell a good, convincing story, have Ghostface, again, kind of be more pertained to Sydney or Tatum rather than Sydney. I would prefer that personally. That's just me. But As always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel with your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you think, like, yes, got to keep it about Tatum? Do you think, no, it has to be around Sydney and the Tatum's kind of involved? Like I said, I'm okay if it's even kind of like a, like a group type thing, right? It's just like it's Sydney and her daughter, right? Like 30th anniversary, go after them type thing. But again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.